Hey everybody, welcome back to Pokehaan Craft, and this is a rather special episode. It is not part of the main storyline thing that I'm doing. This one's all about automation and my gift to the Pokehaan fans. So, as you know, Mr. Kehaan, the Kehaan, I don't know if it's a Mr. or a Mr. or a Miss, or I don't know too much about the guy, but the creator of the pack has made things a little bit difficult, and as they should be. I mean, an NPC editor takes, you know, 14 Master Balls and a bunch of singularities, blocks of diamonds, a chisel, which is only for decorative purposes, but takes a Master Ball and a bunch of singularities, and blocks of nether stars. Yeah. And there was one more thing, the Nature's Compass. This takes a bunch of singularities and a normal compass from Bibliocraft, which also requires a Master Ball. So if you're just planning on doing the crafts, you're going to need a total of 16 Master Balls just for the 3 crafts I have here, I think. Yeah, yeah. And each Master Ball requires this. And each one of these require things like this. So, it's rather difficult. Like, without cheating, I can't see anyone doing this in less than, like, you know, 80 hours of gameplay bare minimum to even come close. The only two options for Master Balls is finding them in Poke Chests, I guess Dungeon Chests, um, Mega Bosses, and that's pretty much it. So, and crafting them. But, as you can see, the craft is rather difficult. There are things in here that are really hard to get. Berry juice you can buy from Pokemarts, and Shuckles drop them. So it's not really automatable, but it is doable. And there's some of these berries you can only get from foraging with your Pokemon, which also takes time and is an RNG based thing, I'm fairly certain. So it's a rather difficult thing as well. So I have created a way to get infinite Master Balls within a little bit of time. The time it would take you to find one, you could probably have a stack. So we're going to get to that, but we're going to leave that as the cream of the crop, the very last part of this little episode I'm doing here. So I want to go over all the automations I've done so far, and why I chose to do it this way. Now, if you want to get the finite details, you should watch my series. I would appreciate it, and it would be a little more informative than this little Clip Notes version. So, to start with, however you want to do your apricorn farm, I use the plant interactor, and I have 15 apricorn plants for each one. You can use the mystical agriculture growth things, the reliquary lily pad. Uh, you can stand there with a band of growth, but you cannot put the band of growth on a pedestal because it will break the trees. So you don't want that. But there are several ways to speed up the crops. I don't speed up mine in any way because I stood there with a growth band and for like maybe 15 minutes and we are frozen, which is exactly what I didn't want to happen. But I guess I can go over some of the details. So I didn't really spend a lot of time with the growth band, but enough to get enough of the items so I could set up all the automation. So maybe 15 minutes, nothing major. And we have well over 1,000 of each of the Pokeballs by now. And this series has been going on for a little while. This will probably be pushing around the episode 20 mark, maybe 25. And we're back. Great. So, um, yeah. So you can see we have 1,500 Ultra Balls, more than we'll ever need. And I set it all up very simply. I have a plant interactor 3 blocks above this, taking care of 15 um, apricorn plants. It's dispensing its sludge into a trash can using a flat transfer node, and it has a +2 range upgrade to be able to get all of the things. And I'm using wireless RF transmitters for everything, so they get the power. Now, the plant interactor deposits its apricorns into a resourceful furnace. The resourceful furnace cooks said apricorns, and the XP gets loaded into here, which you will need for later automation. So the XP gets loaded into here, and the 3 different types of cooked apricorns go into my analog crafter, which you could also use a sequential fabricator, but it's not completely necessary for this particular craft build. Um, for the other part, it's best to use a sequential fabricator. But anyways, um, you set it to up only with an east output, which I'm not sure how it determines that, but I just picked one of the empty slots and put east so that it makes that side accessible to this flat transfer node, which is required with a hopper to use the mechanical anvil. The mechanical anvil only does inputs and outputs via hopper. That is the only way. So, Kehaan did do um, a way to make these with the induction smelter, but it costs red matter. Red matter's 500,000 EMC. It's easier to automate to a point, but it seems a little wasteful to me. I mean, taking up a little extra space, a little extra time, and you're saving, 40 billion EMC in the long run. So, you know, at the stage where I'm at, I could run all these off red matter, and it wouldn't even bother me, but, we don't all set up crazy EMC things. For the fuel for the furnace, I used EMC condensers. I put 1 piece of magenta matter in and sticks. It'll last for an eternity, and it will create the Ultra Ball lids. And the Ultra Ball lids go into a hopper underneath, which then is put into a chest. Because trying to evacuate a hopper using the thermal thermodynamic pipes, it forces it through, and you don't want it to force through. You want it to pull when it needs it. So you put the hopper to a chest, and then the pipes to the chest, and then into the sequential fabricator, one on each side. So the top has the input for the buttons, which is fueling both of these. Once again, a button, 1 piece of magenta matter, set for life. And then it goes into here through the top. The Ultra Ball lids go in through the bottom. It's underneath. And then the iron bases go in from this side here. So then this will craft these as it gets Ultra Ball lids and put them into a black hole unit, which then you can hook up to your refined storage system if you so choose. But they're Ultra Balls. It's not that big of a deal. And then for the iron thing, the iron bases, once again, magenta matter and sticks, and magenta matter and the iron disc. Now this costs 153 each, so this will run out far before the sticks will, but I still think you're pretty set, even with it running on 2, for a very long time. And that's using magenta matter. You can use any source of EMC you like. And that is all from here over is the setup for the Ultra Ball. And then I duplicated it 6 times, duplicated it 5 times to make quick balls, great balls, Pokeballs, friend balls, and timer balls. So that's this setup. I'm pretty proud of this, to be honest. Especially the room build. It's very simplistic but elegant in its own way. But this is my Pokeball setup. I set these up for the singularities, not to use them. That's why they have different chests. But don't fret that. This setup will work fine. This setup will work as well. It's the same thing. I just use a different method of um, energy condensing. So that is the whole spiel on that. You have to configure your sides appropriately, in which if you watch my episode, as you should, you'll see how I configured everything, and we'll leave it at that. So this is the automation in this room for 6 different Pokeballs that is, for all intents and purposes, infinite. So that is the first automation. Bam. My next automation I want to talk about is the aluminum plates. Now this is also the first automation I did in the series. I wanted to figure out a way to do aluminum plates, and that is what I did. So first thing is put a chest, fill it with stone pickaxes, and you have it going into a user. You can do random slot. You can do well, random slot's the best because it's all the same. Left click in generic, and then a vacuumulator. And in here, you want to have a cobblestone. So this guy here will pop the cobblestone down. This thing will observe it, turn off the redstone signal, activating the mechanical user to place the aluminum plate, and this guy will be on constantly. They'll pound down the plate, it'll get sucked into here, and the cobblestone will go through the vacuumulator, back into here, and place it again. And this setup on the back wall is basically the timer circuit. So by the time it takes to place and break a cobblestone, you'll make 1 aluminum plate. And it's not perfect. It only works right every other plate. So you're wasting a little bit of durability. But I mean, how many aluminum plates do you need? You know? So I mean, I put a diamond hammer with unbreaking 1, and when the durability gets to about half, I pop it in my inventory with my repair talisman while I go train, and, pop it back in here for the next time I need plates. You definitely want to do 4 upgrades in this. That's the only way it's going to work appropriately. A diamond hammer with 4 upgrades will pound out that plate every iteration of breaking the cobblestone. Furthermore, you can filter this to only be cobblestone so it doesn't get clogged up by anything that the accumulator might pick up. Or I think you might be able to filter this. Yeah, you can probably filter this. Yeah, you sneak place it. You can filter this to only pick up cobblestone, and that'll solve the problem as well. But once again, I did about 3 stacks of aluminum plates, and I don't think I'll need any more. So that's the second automation. The third automation is I did top tier Pam's Harvest Craft Southern style breakfast food. Why did I do this? Not a single clue, just to see if I could. And, well, it worked. So we started off in the back here with a mechanical miner, mining cobblestone in a cobblestone generator, vanilla style. So this is mining cobblestone infinitely. It's popping the cobblestone into this black hole unit. It is being pulled from the black hole unit into the material stoneworks factory, which is turning it into sand. And it's also getting pumped into the induction smelter to be turned into slag. So the sand is getting input to the induction smelter as the flux, and the cobblestone is getting pumped into here as to create slag. It's on 1 piece of slag 100% of the time. And then the slag is getting put into this black hole unit, which is being shipped over into the secret room. And the stone bricks that are coming from the cobblestone being smelted are going into here, being turned into EMC, being turned into pulverized charcoal, which is also going into here to make slag, or to make phyto grow. Now in here, I'm not going to go into detail with this because this would take like 20 minutes to explain completely, but the whole thought process is everything that you can grow, you grow in the phytogenic insulators. You have to do, um, probably have to do the nutrient recovery, and you absolutely need the monoculture cycle. That's 100%. Then you throw a sink above it, pump it full of water, and let it do its thing. And then each one of these do the different crafts to get into every individual ingredient. So this guy does milk. Let's see, it should pop in here. Maybe. Yeah, see, just flash for a second. It does milk. This one does cornmeal. So it's growing corn in there, and it's being crafted with a pestle and mortar to be cornmeal. This one is wheat flour. Same principle. It's being pulverized to wheat flour. These are pig seeds, pig essence seeds. It's being crafted into pork chops, then cooked into pork chops using a redstone furnace, and then black hole united. And then these are chicken seeds, which is being black hole unit or fabricated into eggs, which is like black hole united. And then this is pulling in water, and then the buckets being filled up in the fluid transposer, being crafted into 8 buckets of water, or 8 jars of water, or whatever the 8 fresh waters, and then being black hole united. And then over here, this is being fluid transposed into a bucket of water, crafted into salt, and deposited as such. And then this mess over here is the complete, utter, it puts everything together. It puts the toast and the toast, the biscuits, the gravy, the biscuits and gravy. It just pretty much makes everything. I have this guy here. 1 carrot, 1 piece of magenta matter, endless carrots. Why carrots? Because it makes stock. You can use anything that is EMCable that can be crafted with a pot to make stock. I picked potatoes or carrots. I mean, I just chose carrots because they're the first thing I seen. They're brighter, stood out more. Doesn't really matter what you use. And then it gets pulled over. Ugh, stupid mouse. It gets pulled over. This is the grits. And then this is the actual breakfast. So to make the breakfast, you need grits, biscuits and gravy, toast, egg, cooked pork chop, and a cutting board. Done. Every one of your sequential fabricators need the augment pattern validation. Unless it's a single craft thing, but I did it anyway. So just do it. It doesn't cost much. 1,000, 2,000 EMC. And as you can see, it just pumps in Southern style breakfast, and I got almost 4 grand. So that is that automation. Now the piece de resistance thing I've been working on. It just kind of came to me last night. I was thinking, how can I get master balls without having to fly around and search end cities endlessly, or try to like craft it over and over again. And the reason I got so discouraged by this is, if we go into here and do Elytra, I got 15 Elytras. Alright, 15. And that's not even all the end cities, that's just the ones with the ship. I got 15 for 1 Master Ball. So I was like, we gotta find a way to do this. So I went over into my little mob room here. I built this little place over here. Hey, look at that, chubby little guy. But I built this little place over here, and I got, in the update, he added Treasure 2, and it spawns in these here bound souls. So I grabbed me one in a mob imprisonment tool. Is that? Okay, now, only if it spawns one. And then I added an item dropper to try to automate it better, but it gets a little complicated. So we'll see how I can critique this. But then you get a mechanical user. Mechanical user, it's best to use the best speed upgrades you can find, and you use the loot pet as the weapon. It's the only way it'll work. I tried to set up the top left slot and put the red guitar in there with a loot pet with gold ingots, which the gold ingots might not be necessary. I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't work. It has to literally use the loot pet to beat the guy to death. So the user has to grab a bag, grab a pet with a cute little smiley face, and smash his brains in repeatedly, and it gets double drops. Now, to get this all to work properly, I have a mob detector because an observer or a scanner wouldn't pick up the mob. But I found this mob detector in Industrial Foregoing, and was like, that's gonna be perfect. That's gonna be ideal for the situation. So the prerequisites you need to exploit this Master Ball thing is you need at least one Master Ball. You need to have some way to get essence, and you need, I guess, simple knowledge of redstone. So to get this to work, this guy has an inverted signal. So when there's a mob in there, it turns off the redstone signal, and it goes through these comparators, and it'll activate this guy to, bludgeon him to death with a loot pet. And then when he dies, it'll turn the signal back on, activating this to spawn another one, and activating this to drop a Master Ball. When it drops the Master Ball, our little bound soul here picks it up, and then he gets bludgeoned to death once again by a loot pet, which drops 2 Master Balls. And as of now, I have 18 Beast Balls. I found a GS Ball in between episodes in a desert temple when I was hunting down the treasure stuff. So GS Balls, I got 1. I have 5 now. I had 4 of these. I now have 18. I had 1 Master Ball. I now have 16 Master Balls. So to demonstrate, just take 4 out here. We're going to flip this lever. This is kind of like the kill switch. It starts bludgeoning our friend here to death with a loot pet. We're just going to let him get killed. And then we're going to throw in these Master Balls. Then we're going to get out of the way. For some reason, he doesn't always want to pick it up. I'm not sure why. He picked up 5 of them before. Oh, because he picked up the inferior essence. And I don't have a clear-cut way of setting that up. Like, I don't have why is he not picking those up? Why is he calling me a liar? Okay, now he's got them. So he picked up all 4 of them. He's being bludgeoned to death by the loot pet. And any second now. Any second now. Any second now. Shabam. 8 Master Balls. Voila. I just, created a method of duplicating your Master Balls. This is definitely not intended, and I will be willing to bet 100% that once I spread this around, he will find a way to disable it. Probably by just removing the loot pet. Probably be the simplest action. And the most reasonable, considering, there's not a lot of vanilla mobs to use the loot pet on in the first place. So that's my setup. This guy needs to be sent to Entity. I don't know if it has to be set to Entity, but it has to be set to left click and upper left hand slot. It has to be set to redstone off. So when there is a redstone signal, it's not, bludgeoning our poor bound soul to oblivion with a bag of gold. The item dropper, I set the speed all the way up. and this will work one at a time, but the conditions for the mob to pick up the item, I'm not entirely sure what they are. Like, I'm not completely sure um, what criteria needs to be met for him to actually pick them up. Like, for instance, the more centered on the block they are, the more likely he is to pick them up, and how far away you are has something to do with it as well. And he doesn't seem to want to pick them up if he's been damaged or he's going to be or he's being damaged while it's happening. But I'm not entirely sure the criteria. Like, and then sometimes if they pick something else up, it tends to be a problem as well. Ow! Oh my God! It's a baby. Okay, so our friend here, he picked up the Master Balls. Now he has 8 of them, right? Yeah, they didn't go back to my inventory, so he has 8 of them. So now we will get 16 from this drop, courtesy of the loot head. If you pick them up, give them back. Alright, so, needless to say, I will not use these Master Balls to, well, I guess it's not needless to say, because I'm saying it, but I'm not going to use the Master Balls to catch Pokemon. I feel that it's just wrong, so I'm just not going to. But I am going to use them to craft, because I am not going to try to craft, 16 Master Balls using those methods, or try to search them out, because I went to at least 20 end cities, at least, and I found one. I looked into crafting them, and that would take an eternity to craft 16. Could I craft 4 or 5 and not, bang my head off a wall? Probably. Could I craft 16? Not with my sanity, not with what's left of my sanity still intact. So, yeah. Um, so the dropper does work. I guess we can show that off. Where did I throw them in here? The problem with a dropper is it only does one at a time. Well, you know what? To to prove that, we could throw 3 in there and uh, hit that, and it threw out a GS ball, but only one, and he'll drop 2. So I'm not heartbroken about it, and it is pretty much automated. Wait, how many did he drop? And we're frozen again. I broke it. How did I get 3? Okay, this thing popped 1 out. Okay. So, that is my Master Ball creation. I'm gonna post this. I don't know when I'm gonna schedule it for. It's gonna be like my early holidays gift to the Pokehaan YouTubers that were trying to find a way to do the Master Ball. Now, I have accomplished it for all intents and purposes. It's not automated, but it's pretty close. The reason I can't fully automate it is any method of picking up the items, there's the chance that it would pick up the item before the zombie did. Actually, I'd almost guarantee it would pick up the item before the zombie did. So, the only way I could really do it is if I found something that I could set a really small range on and hook it up to a minecart and then have a redstone signal push it so that it could start out like over here, and then as soon as the zombie died, it could shoot it down a powered rail and pick up all the drops and then come back around and then park, and which I think is doable, but I mean, like I said, I don't want to really exploit this because that is what we're doing, but I do want to get enough to craft these items, and that is what I did. So it's a happy medium. I won't use them to catch legendaries. I won't use them to catch anything. Maybe I'll use one to catch a shuckle for just the fun of it. But you know, I'm not gonna really. I'm not going to exploit this because, like I said, I want to play a pack as it's intended. But when a pack turns into something that's a giant nightmare grind fest, then I'm kind of like it makes me want to quit. So this is a good happy medium to keep me from abandoning Pokehaan because I kind of enjoyed this mud pack. I hope you guys enjoyed. Um, this is my gift to you Pokehaaners, and my apologies to the pack creator if he finds out about this, but it's better he finds out about it so he can fix it, so he can have his pack the way he tends to use it. So if I never would have did this, he might never have heard about it. So it's cool. It's cool either way. He can consider me a pack tester, so to speak. I guess. So, alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. As far as automation is concerned, that is all the automation that I've done thus far. I do intend to automate disenchanting items, but it's not going to be a hard process. I'm just going to use one of the enchanter thingies and pull fishing rods and bows and arrows out of here. Not going to be, not going to be very, not going to be overly complicated. It will be in one of my upcoming episodes. So I hope you guys watch, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for your watching, your supporting, and yeah, whatever else you guys do with my videos. So later on, guys.